Hello and welcome to ADS Python tutorials. This is tutorial 6 in which we will talk about parameter sweep and multi-dimensional data plot. Here's a 2-point agenda for this tutorial. We'll take a look at how to set up parameter sweep from Python and then how do we perform multi-dimensional data plotting. Most of the RF microwave engineers already know the value of performing different kind of sweep, which in turn produces a multi-dimensional data, and they have to do plotting on such data plots and then figure out the best position for their RF design to move forward. And this is what we are going to talk about, but all from Python console in ADS. So a script which I'm going to use in this video is available for download using the link provided in the description box. So let's get started. But before that, keep exploring more videos in the playlist to deepen your understanding. So let's go ahead and take a look at the example. And here we are going to start from the same place where we left in the last video, where we discussed about synthesizing a microstrip and a lumped element low pass filter. So here I just copy pasted the code and executed it so that I have a schematic design representing our low pass filter. There are a couple of changes compared to the last video. The first change, here you can see, instead of providing ER as a static value in our microstrip substrate, I have declared ER as one of the var block item, and now this enables me to sweep this ER value or ER variable over a range of values and then plot the resulting response. The second thing I have changed here, I am importing an additional module called cborn, which is very convenient when you have to plot multi-dimensional data from Python. So we will make use of that for our data plotting. Now we have the starting place where we have the circuit, we have the variable defined with a proper stack-up definition. Now if you look at manual way of setting up parameter sweep, you can go to respective simulation category, bring up the parameter sweep component, and then we can configure it after placing it on a schematic. There are three main aspects of setting up a parameter sweep. The first one is to define the parameter which we want to sweep. So in this case, the parameter we have selected is ER. Second thing you take care is what kind of sweep are you going to perform? Is it linear, log, or a single point? And then based on the sweep type, you can define whether you are looking to do start-stop based sweep or defining a center and providing a particular span to sweep that variable. So in this case, I'm going to use a linear sweep with a start and a stop. So let's go ahead and enter the range of the ER value that I would like to sweep and the step size of 0.1. So once we hit apply, you can see the corresponding annotation gets updated. The key thing to note here is the ER is expected to be defined as a string. And this is what this component is expecting, and we need to take care of that while setting up this variable from Python, and we will shortly get to that point. Now the last thing remaining here is to define the simulation controller name that you would like to run with every value of the variable that you are going to sweep. So in our case, if I zoom out and look at our simulation controller name, that's sp1, and that is what we need to declare here. So if we define sp1, hit apply, again you can see in the parameter sweep, sp1 is expected to be passed as a string. So again, these are some things we need to take care when we are doing programmable settings using Python. Now in parameter sweep, notice that simulation 1, 2, 3, 4 is a repeatable component parameter. That means if you have multiple simulation controller like DC, harmonic balance, the circuit envelope, etc., you can keep defining the corresponding simulation controller's name, like in this case DC1, HP1, and so on. And then you have those repeated parameters coming up in the list. So this is a spatial type of parameter which needs to be configured properly from Python. And again, we are going to talk about this once we take a look at the Python code shortly. So in this case, let me go ahead and delete the parameter sweep and repeat the same thing from our Python console code. So here, let me copy paste the lines, which is basically going to place that parameter sweep component from our console. So here you can see design, which is pointed to our current schematic. And again, all these fundamentals I already covered in the previous videos. And I'm adding an instance from this library, and the component name is parameter sweep, and I'm going to call that as sweep1 onto my schematic. That's the instance name, and then define the X and Y coordinate. Now notice the setting of parameters here. So the sweep var, which is going to be our ER, and as you notice, we had to pass it as double quotes, and also from Python, the values have to be string type, so you can see another quote around that ER. So this ensures the definition is treated as a string, and with double quotes ER, it gets written as a string in that component. So hopefully that's pretty clear. Now, when it comes to simulator instance name, remember there were repeatable parameters. That means you can have multiple simulation controller name defined. So if you encounter any such parameter in any component which you are going to use in ADS, the first value is always set as repeats, which denotes it's a repeatable parameter. Index is 0.value. So this is the first entry of the repeatable parameter. Again, double quotes and then covered by quotes from each side. That means it gets treated as a string and the value gets written in the string format. Now, any subsequent simulator name which you need to add in any repeatable parameter, you can simply use append_repeat or repeats.append, depending upon which version of ADS you are using when you are checking this video. Now again, remember, as you are dealing with programming, the command or the format might change slightly from version to version. So it's always good to export or print out the component parameters and look at the type of parameter definition which is required. Now finally, we set the start value, stop value, and step value, which is the straightforward setting, and then we define the sweep type as linear start step method. So with this, if we execute this code here, you can see the parameter sweep component has been properly configured as we did manually a few minutes ago, right? So at this point, if you want, you can go ahead and run simulation manually using the GUI and plot the results. But that's not what we are going to do in this video. So here now remaining job is to create a netlist, invoke the simulator, and run that netlist so that the corresponding data set is produced. So I have copy pasted those lines, the simulation is executed, and now I have the data set available inside data folder under workspace. Now remaining job is pretty simple, as we already discussed in past few videos, which is to access the data set. So in this case, I'm opening the data set, which is denoted by the schematic name .ds extension. Pass that into a data pointer, and then using the data, we can go and find the variable block that contains our desired result. Now this is going to be extremely crucial, especially if you are doing multi-dimensional data sweep, you are placing multiple simulation controller, because each of those will come up with its own data block, or what we call as var block. So your data is categorized based on the origin from where it is generated. So using this API is very important and very useful, where you can find the var block which contains a particular measurement which you are looking for. In this case, I'm looking for S21. Although I didn't need to use that in this present code since we only have one controller, but we had a parameter sweep, so data essentially will appear as sweep1.sp1.sp, and then you have all the members like S11, S21 and all that. So if you don't need to remember that entire hierarchy syntax, just simply do this and you will have the data block name which you can find, And then now that I can pass on as a pointer with a variable called sp1. And now from the data, which is referring to the entire data set, I can refer to only that corresponding data block, which I can convert to pandas data frame and perform all the manipulation. Like you can see here, frequency column of the data block is getting modified because I am dividing it by 1e9, which converts everything to gigahertz. Similarly for S21 and S11, I'm performing 20 logs. So the original data frame itself is getting modified so that now you have the quantities in the desired units or format as you are expecting. So once the data frame is already modified, I can bring up the seaborne data plotter. Like in this case, let me copy paste this piece of code here and let me explain it quickly. So as I said, when you're dealing with multi-dimensional data plot, seaborne is a pretty nice module to be used, because when you use matplotlib, remember in sweep points you have multiple frames of data which is concatenated. So when you use matplotlib, sometimes you will see the last value gets rolled off to the first value of the next block and so on. So your graph may look a little weird unless you do a bit of extra steps and cut that link, which results in rolling back the data from the last point of the first frame to the beginning of the second frame. But with seaborne, you don't need to worry any about it. It knows how to handle such kind of data in a very straightforward manner. So in line plot, we simply pass on our modified data frame. As you can see, we just used df. We modified the members of that data frame. And from there, x-axis is going to be the frequency column, y-axis is S21. And the hue or the color dependence I'm going to use is based on ER, because that's the variable we have swept in our simulation. Choose a particular color palette, and for each plot you are going to have on the graph, you can choose whether the legend has to be false or true. Now since I'm going to plot both of these items like S11 and S21 on a same plot, I would not like to see in legends appearing twice. So for one particular plotting, I set legend to false. For another, I set it to true, so that you can only see legend once. And again, you can even manipulate the label and the precision in which legend text gets printed. Like in this case, you can see I'm doing a formatted label and I'm limiting it to only 1 decimal digit so that the ER is only shown in 1 decimal precision. And then that's it. We can go ahead and plot and show the results. So when we execute, you can see a very nice looking multicolor plot denoting the sweep plots. And you can see S11 and S21 plotted. And here's the ER where it denotes the range and the step for which ER has been swept, and individual colors of the plot representing each ER value. So this looks very attractive, no post-processing required, and the data comes up pretty naturally. So hopefully you get the point. And again, as I said in the beginning, the script I have used is available for your download. Feel free to download it, execute it on your ADS session, and then you can make any kind of modification for a script to be modified to suit your own specific purpose. So that's all for this video. I hope you got the content very clearly communicated. You understand what are the key things to take care of. And I wish you all the best in your design and automation work. So keep watching more videos, keep enhancing your knowledge. Thanks for staying till the end, and see you in the next video.